Hey, guys.
Hey.
This is S&M, and I bet you think this podcast is about you. And if you think this podcast is about you, it's because you probably have a personality disorder, one of the cluster B personality disorders. I'm not going to name them because there's so many, but they're all toxic and terrible. So we are not mental health experts, and today, this is episode 8, The Family Feud. And we are super excited because this is now our second episode with guests in our studio. And I'm so excited because we're going to stick with the 80s theme because we keep calling people by their initials or pseudo initials in some cases. We're going to run out of letters. So we're going to go with the 80s theme for the Family Feud. So our first guest I want to introduce is Mr. T, who's a real live boy. We have not had a boy in here before, so this is great. Say hi.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
And we have, I think she picked this moniker herself, Punky Brewster. Say hi.
Hi.
She's a big Punky fan from back in the 80s.
You know it.
I know. I loved her. Okay, so
I loved her.
she was awesome.
Where is she now?
Soleil Moon Fry.
Dude, she has huge boobs.
I know. I
Well,
love
then
that
I don't know if we can be the
Wow.
same person.
You were thinking about that?
I was. Yeah.
I know. That's all I know. And so before we start talking about our topic for today, we're going to go back to the daily high-low just to warm ourselves up and to introduce our guests, maybe get them chatting about themselves and their day. So I know mine already, so I'm going to start because I think Em is thinking about hers.
Yeah, debating.
I know. And you're going to love mine because one of mine has something to do with you. So my low, this sucks, by the way. My low is insane. This is the kind of thing that happens only to me. I brought my car in to be serviced. They have the oil changed, just the oil changed. And it got stuck on the lift. The lift broke while my car was in the air. And it just came down. Like it was there. It started yesterday. It was up there for 24 hours. And they made me come back 3 times. They're like, it'll be down soon. It'll be down soon. The part's on its way. I would go back.
Did they give you a Chevy Malibu to drive around in the
No,
meantime?
they gave me a loaner that was a lot like my car, but it's 2 years newer. So all the little buttons are in the different places. And I just hate it. I don't want to drive a car. I don't care if it's brand new. That I'm not comfortable in.
Okay, so my feelings are hurt because I drive a Chevy Malibu.
He does. Mr. T has a Chevy Malibu.
It's a little different than what you normally drive. So.
But I just bought this brand new Tahoe with 22-inch wheels, and it's amazing. But my wife drives it.
Oh, well, lucky her.
So
And you still drive the Malibu?
I do.
So there
I
are
do.
good guys around.
I try to be.
Wow.
I think you also back into parking spaces. I've
Yeah.
seen you do
One
that,
of
and I was
those.
like, what are you
Yes.
doing, Mr. T?
That's
easier
so
to
I
get
don't
out.
hit any more cars because Malibus don't have backup cameras.
Oh.
They sure don't.
All right. So my high today happened right before I came here because in between picking up my car from the dealership, I stop into my office. I have a brand new assistant, okay? My brand new assistant says, your friend Em was just here. And she's really scary. She had like tears in her eyes. She's like, she is like very confident. And I was scared.
Oh my gosh, really?
And I was like, I can see. Listen, she is lovely and sweet, but like like afraid of her own shadow.
Yeah, I get that
good.
sense.
Was that Monica your old assistant?
Yes.
She's no Monica.
She is no Monica.
Oh.
No, my new assistant is a little mousy and has a voice like the nanny. Remember the nanny? She does.
Yeah.
And she's like, your friend was in here and she walked in like she owned the place and had all these questions for me. And I was like, I don't know, you're so scary. I died. I was like, you know what? She is scary. That's why I love her.
This ties in really well to my high and low.
Okay, go.
So, okay. My low today is that, without giving too many specifics, if anyone has had any sort of dental work done or orthodontic work done, I went to someone who's supposedly like the best in Michigan, and he's got awards all over the place. And I was like, oh, this guy's going to be really good. Long story short, he's super, super fucked up on his treatment with me, and I now have to have like stuff like for the rest of my life. I have to pay to have like stuff filled in and redone, and he blamed it on me. By the way, he's a total narcissist in every way. So that's my low. Is I'm like, well, that
How did he
sucks.
blame it on you?
Yeah, how did he blame your
Yeah, he's something like with my gum tissue, and like he went into all this like, oh well, that's probably what happened. Meanwhile, every other like dentist and orthodontist I've spoken with, they like laugh in my face. They're like, that's a total joke. That's not true.
I'm like, say I'm the customer.
Yeah, so that's my low. Yeah, when they have direct deposit or not, what is that? Where they take your money, the withdrawal automatically? It's like, well, I'm kind of screwed. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, it's a direct debit.
Thank you.
Oh yeah,
banker.
Mr. T knows.
Thank you. Thank you for chiming in there.
Mr. T works for a bank.
Oh, okay.
He's getting chased his shot now. He's not on the A team anymore.
So that's my low. That's my low. But my high is that he and then another person who some of you in here know has kind of screwed me over. I'm finding ways to screw them over, like back. Do you know what I mean?
You're plotting revenge.
Yeah.
Is that who I think it is?
No, I don't think
Is
so.
it covertly or overtly?
It is going to be very overt, obvious, everywhere. I want to take these people down, and I'm in the process of figuring how. And I'm really, my high is that I think I can do this. I think I can rate them really bad, and I can like make them look like shit publicly, so everyone knows about them.
See, I told my assistant was right. She's scary.
Hey,
I'll
I'm
never cross
actually a
you.
really nice person, but if you like, these people need to be recognized for the fact that they're terrible people.
All right. So who wants another? Who wants to share next, Mr. T or Punky? Who's going?
I can go.
Okay, Punky. I'm excited about this one actually.
Well, they're not. I
No?
mean, it's not anything spectacular like you guys just had, but my low. I work several different places and in charge of some people. And there was a basket of laundry at one of my places, and I said, "Oh, is this clean or dirty?" "Oh, it's clean. I just didn't know how to fold them."
You don't know how to fold
sorry.
towels?
I'm sorry. I said, "How old are you?" "Oh, are you 26?" "Okay. You're 26 years old. You don't know how to fold a sheet? And I'm paying you how much an hour?
Wow.
Did you need me to draw it?"
Do you need a diagram?
He's like, "Yeah, that would be helpful."
Oh, of course it's a dude. Sorry, Mr. T.
Easy.
How old were you when you learned how to fold a sheet?
Second motherfucking grade.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
But mine was because I didn't like the way my mother was folding my stuff. So I just like, I'll do it myself.
I can see that. All right. What was your high?
This drink right here
Ooh, that
would
looks
be
good.
even higher if there was vodka in it, but there's not right now. So
What is
That
that?
does look tasty.
strawberry watermelon tea with some collagen.
Looks delicious.
With collagen. Nice. All right, Mr. T, you're on.
Okay, so like Punky, I do a few different things. And in my day job, the high was for my day job today.
It's that green shirt.
That's the high? Yeah. I would agree. It was on top of the laundry basket, which was folded. But no, I was having an issue with a customer today that I cynically punted to my boss, who's in Philadelphia on business, who you know, S. And he was giving me grief about this issue yesterday and the day before. And I just decided, you know what, Mr. Customer, call my boss. And it got worked out in my favor. So that's really a big high for me. The low was that in one of my side hustles this morning, it's a service business, and I have a meeting with the employees every morning, and I found that one of them had broken a $6,000 piece of equipment that's brand new. And so I cursed them out, and I left, which I probably should not have handled it that way, but it made me feel better at the time.
Well,
And then I told one guy in particular that I was going to let him go if I had a customer issue with him today, and then I left.
okay.
So
Well, instant gratification. There's something to be said for
Right.
that.
So
And at
that's
least you're
just-
like reflecting.
Yeah.
on it.
trying
I mean,
to,
that's
yes.
a lot of
So that's
people
a lot
don't
of
do
it.
that.
Yeah. So that's just that was a low for me today. So
Yeah,
and
that
I'll
is
think
a
about
low.
that at 3 a.m. in the morning when I'm
Yeah.
awake. And I probably will still end up firing that guy.
Will you really?
well,
At 3 a.m. by text?
No, I'll do it face to face.
I know you would.
Yeah,
You would.
Yeah. And he was kind of giggling, and
Oh, no.
I think he was high. I think he was high.
oh, get
Yeah.
him out of there.
So
Get him out of there.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Okay. So our topic today is talking about having toxic relationships that we've been talking about for, months now on this podcast, but talking about them within the context of family relationships. Both of you, Punky and Mr. T, have situations where you can't just go no contact and never speak to these people again because these individuals are in your family unit. So I think maybe I'm just going to ask you to share however much you're comfortable sharing, and then we have some follow-up and we can chit-chat about those. So why don't you go first, Punky?
So I was married to my toxic person, and we have a son together. But a little bit unlike you said, we had no contact for, I'd say, close to 4 years, maybe a couple court appearances when he thought he'd grace the court with his presence. But a lot of them, he decided he was...
Did he have no contact with your child?
Our child, yeah.
And you, both?
The court order was my child.
Okay.
And I basically ignored or blocked him from a lot of stuff. So it was a solid 4 years. And like I said, unless there was court. But then kind of came back around, and here we are today.
So he came back around how?
Well, when you have a child with someone and you try to like take the helicopter view of the situation, is my ex-husband an asshole? Sure. Do I really want to see him? No. What's best for my kid, asshole dad or not?
Right.
As long as he's safe, is to probably make his own decision. He's 12 now.
Yep.
So what had happened was, and I mean, to be quite honest, like you were very involved in a lot of the times when I had seen my strung out, drug addicted, alcoholic ex-husband.
Yep.
I didn't feel safe a lot of the times, and it was scary. But after taking about 4 Christmases, he hadn't seen our son. And I was like, God, that would suck to not see my kid. Like, I would feel like a horrible, worthless human being. So I reached out and I just said, hey, I hope you're all right. And that was it. Like, that was all that I said. And I didn't hear anything for maybe 6 weeks because apparently he had gotten a different phone, like they do.
Yeah.
Oh,
Different
they usually have
profiles.
multiple phones.
Different phones.
Different
Yeah.
profiles. Yeah, that happens.
And
Oh, yeah.
oh yeah.
Uh-huh.
I've been out of the game way too long.
Oh, no. When you drop the guy, he'll get like a whole new like Facebook profile and a brand new phone and keep calling and keep contacting you.
Yep.
Or if they're married, then they'll have like a second phone that's like their bat phone.
Mm-hmm.
I've
Their
had-
ghost phone
Yeah.
or whatever.
Sometimes they
I'm
have
learning
3.
so much here.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to cut you off.
No,
not
no,
at
no,
all.
cutting off. It's
Not at
okay.
all. So how did that work? He ended up sending, and I don't want to give too much away, but for what he does for work, there was like a household item
Yeah.
that he sent, which, as we all know about toxic, narcissistic people, it is always about them.
Yeah.
And it was the
it's-
best ever.
And it's yeah, right. So I was like, he would never pay money for anything that didn't directly benefit him. This is weird.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
But so then my son is in sports, and he had asked if he could come to one of the games. And I'm like, oh, fine. And the person that I've been dating for a while was supportive of it too. So I'm like, well, if I have enough backup, it's okay. My parents, on the other hand, not okay, which I as a parent can understand, right? Like if I had to watch my son go through what I went through, I don't know how I would feel. But also the right thing to do for my son is to allow his dad into his life as long as he's comfortable, because I think now too, it's been about a year where they've seen each other more. And my son is able to be like, whew. Sometimes he'll be like, something's wrong with dad.
Yeah, he knows,
So
right?
he can kind of like, I mean, he wants a dad who doesn't want a brother or who doesn't
Yeah.
want that. Like you want that.
Right.
But at the same time,
So what do you tell him? Do you tell him, yeah, sometimes dad sucks? Or
we
do you
had
just,
we had to tell him straight up in therapy, dad was on drugs.
did you really?
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's talk about that. So your ex was an addict.
Mm-hmm.
And that is what kind of precipitated the divorce and all that stuff, correct?
The last time my ex saw my son, he was on a bender, and my son had been locked in a basement for I don't know how many hours while the adults were partying, and I couldn't find him.
And he was supposed to be back in your custody at that point, correct? Okay.
And I didn't want to, being like the victim.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want the last thing my son saw or remembered was his dad going away in a police car. And I remember taking him in the car, my son, and he said, "Mom, are you mad at me?"
Aw.
Like that love bombing and
Yes.
the games these narcissists play. It's not just like the partner.
It's the kids, too.
It trickles down into the kids. And so I am emotional and crying about it now because it was one of the worst memories of my life. But I've done a lot of work to come onto the other side of it. And one of the reasons I decided to tell my son when he was 7 that his dad was a drug addict was because when you have clarity about things, you can understand.
Right.
It's not his fault. And maybe like when he's faced with the decision, he can make a different one.
Right. Well, and so now that your son's been seeing his dad for the last year, is his dad sober?
Has been, yep.
So you and I had this discussion. I think we've talked about it on this podcast before. Are they ever really sober, or do they just trade it off for something else? Not necessarily as troubling to them, right? Not necessarily like another drug or alcohol, but
it's the habits. So a good example of that is my son has always excelled as a student. And he had a big project this fall, and his dad worked on it with him. And they got the project back, and he had gotten a B- on it. And my ex-husband's like, whoa. I mean, we get it handed back at the conference. And my ex-husband's like, hold on, your teacher's wrong. And I looked at him and I'm like, maybe this is a conversation for another time, not in front of the kid.
right.
Because he's blaming the teacher for the B-.
That's crazy.
Oh, well, because they blame everyone else.
Yep.
Yeah.
So are they ever sober? Are they ever, I will say in his defense, or to his credit, not in his defense, but he has come a long way and he's taken some strides. But
Isn't he like a super workout dude?
he not as much anymore.
Okay, so that's not that one anymore. Okay.
No.
It just seems like sometimes, in my experience, it's got to be something.
He's like obsessive about the stock market right now.
Oh, that's
Oh,
new.
yeah. So something.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Always something. Or whatever. And his girlfriend, fiance, is eerily similar to how I was when I was her age.
Oh my gosh, do you want to warn her?
She's
I have.
so sweet.
Have you
too.
really?
The night that I picked him up, I went right to her work.
Did you really?
He had a bloody shirt on.
Oh my God.
Like he had like dirty from being in this basement. I'm hysterical. And I'm like, get out now or else 10 years down the road, you're going to be right where I am.
And she's still there? Still with him?
Yeah.
That's crazy. Well, so what do you think the future looks like? So for your son and his dad and you and him, because you still have to interact. I mean, someday you'll have the mutual grandkids in all likelihood. You have to go to birthday parties together.
I will say I don't ever like advocate toxic relationships and I don't ever advocate things that are truly not healthy for people, but whether my ex-husband is healthy or not, it's up to my son to make that choice. Do you know what I'm saying? I see the confidence in my son just knowing that he has part of his identity because his dad's part of his identity. So like he was never doing bad. My son never was in a real bad spot. He was always been a happy, confident kid, but his confidence has grown knowing this part of his life. I'll say that.
Well, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
And people don't
But what
understand.
about you? Because you still have to deal with him too.
I do, but I'm really good at putting him in his place right now. Like, no, not going to talk. Like, no, I don't think you're right. No.
Do you still get assholey texts?
But not like that. No, he
That's
knows
good.
better. Because, I mean, I can, like that, take it away.
What do you mean, like visitation?
He doesn't have any legal rights.
I know. That's nice.
Oh,
Having that
you're going to
power
love
is
this. So I
nice.
didn't tell you this. You're going to love this.
Okay.
Last week. Hey, Punky. I think we really should stop this child support, like, because they take a cut. So if you go down to the FOC, like, I'll just give you money.
Oh, right. Yeah, don't do that.
Wow.
Do I have idiot written across my forehead? No.
Yeah, good for you. So, all right.
No, they need to keep debiting his ass.
That's right. Over and over.
Debiting.
That's right. All the terms. All right, Mr. T, let's hear your story. Your story is a little different. It's not a romantic relationship.
No, my story is, and probably not as painful either. My toxic person is a sibling.
I have one
and
too.
He is a guy that I don't think, S, you've met him.
I have
But
not.
just picture a 10-year younger, taller, slimmer, more charming version of me.
They're always more charming.
Yeah.
Right.
So he kind of looks like Will Smith, right? And, so you guys would love him if you met him. And in your first interactions with him, he would, confirm some of those feelings that you had about him initially.
Because of the love bombing.
Yep.
Yeah, indeed.
They're good actors.
And so my parents, he's 10 years younger than me. When he graduated high school, my parents basically sent him to my house in theory, to go to college, right? So I let him.
In theory.
Didn't turn out that way, did it?
So not at all. Not at all. And I'll share the largest story, most negative story that kind of blew up our relationship. So he moved in with me. I offered to help him, in parts to pay for college. My parents don't have much money. And you can stay here for free. Mm-hmm. I'll help you get a car. I'll give you my car. I had a really nice car before I had the Malibu. And before I had kids. But so now I've got this 18-year-old son, effectively, right? Yeah. And in addition to my own newborn baby at the time. And my parents basically were like, good luck, And so I'm like, okay, well, we'll get you enrolled. I'll help you sort out your classes. I will give you a car if you just bring me home some grades. Life will be great. And throughout the course of a year, he just violated every rule you could violate when you live with someone as a guest. But the thing that sent me over the edge with him was my wife and I went, which, sidebar, Mrs. T is a psychologist, a licensed psychologist.
Yeah.
So she should come here.
She
should come
She
here.
should.
Oh my gosh, that'd be so cool.
We decided to go to Las Vegas for a weekend or whatever and left the house with my brother. He decides to go in my wife's underwear drawer, which I don't even get in there. Who knows what kind of scary stuff is in there,
What? Did you ever address just that part? Like,
No.
was anything missing?
Her car keys were missing.
That's all though? No missing phones
he's
or
probably,
anything?
who knows, he's probably
We don't want
wearing
to.
her underwear as a hat. Who knows what he was doing,
Wow.
Like, why would you even think to look? So she had hidden her car keys
In her underwear
in her underwear drawer at the back.
How did he know to go in there? Was he maybe just searching
How many
desperately?
other times had he been in that drawer?
Oh my gosh.
And so he goes in there, and we're having a good time in Vegas, just unaware. Steals her car, which was also a nice car that I had gotten with a bow on it and everything for her, and that's a whole separate painful story.
Are there
right
other
there.
guys like that?
I know.
She would. She'll tell you I'm an asshole when she comes here, which is true sometimes. But so he takes the car, throws a rod in the engine, blows up the engine, right, and parks it back in the garage as if nothing had ever happened, right? So we come home from vacation.
Did he put the keys back in the underwear?
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
Oh my gosh.
Yep. So. Okay, so now
Do you even wonder what he was doing on your bed?
Gross.
Ew.
I'm sorry.
I am now. I do now. I mean,
You're like, thanks for that image.
Amazon.com sells hidden cameras.
oh, yeah. So Monday morning, my wife,
And you have a baby.
we have a newborn baby at this time.
And so your wife probably needs to take the baby in
So
that
she's
car.
going to take the baby to daycare, which is a really nice daycare called the Goddard School. I don't know if anybody knows that. Yep. So puts the baby in the car Monday morning on their way to work, and the car dies on the highway on the south end of town here. And so she calls my brother crying baby's crying and so forth. And she's like, I need you to come pick me up because the car just died and Mr. T is going to kill me because the car's made for 10,000 miles between oil changes, but she had gone 25. Right. And so she just knew that this was a result of her neglecting her car. It wasn't. Right.
Wow.
But he comes and picks her up and saves the day and, gets the baby and gets her
all
going.
the accolades.
She was like, he saved me, everything worked out. Baby gets to daycare. So my wife, before she became a psychologist, used to work at the dealer, right? Which is the Jaguar dealer. Okay. And so she knew all the people there, and they're like, we've seen a lot worse with these cars. Something specific had to happen for this car to blow up like this. And, she's talking to me, and she says, well, she's 5'2". My brother's 6'1", right? So she goes, my seat was a little off in the car. I had some paperwork in the front seat. It was off. My mirror was off. Something's just not right about this situation. So I contacted my nosy neighbor.
Perfect. They're great.
Who's just
smart move.
out there all the time. She knew everything that was going on. And I asked her, had she seen the car come and go while we were gone? And she had. Of course, she didn't want to know part of it. And so I said, okay,
the nosy
thanks.
neighbor, when shit goes down, never really wants to be involved.
You didn't hear this from me.
You just feel like with the curtains kind of like sort of open. Like one eyeball is out.
Come on, Barb, we see you in there.
Thank God for Barb.
So Barb, we love Barb. I ended up giving her a fruit basket or something. Oh my God. So I called my brother. I said, look, you got one chance to tell me the truth because I know the truth. Did you or did you not take the car? And he said no. And I said, your shit will be in my garage packed. You're not welcome in my house anymore. And I'm going to press charges.
Oh, good for you.
Boundaries.
So,
yeah, especially with family. It's hard with family.
Yeah. It's tough, and my mother was really upset about this. Mm-hmm. My dad was like, fuck him. It's
always the dad.
Yeah, you should have whipped his ass, but I just couldn't do that. So I may have stomped on some of his stuff as I was putting it in the garage, including a vinyl, some classic vinyl. I broke that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Made me feel better.
Mm-hmm. He broke your car.
And at the time I still had a loan on the car, so I couldn't just send it out and crush it. So I spent $8,000 on a new engine for the car. And I pressed charges. The prosecutor said that they were not going to pick up the case. I thought that I needed to press charges so I could get an insurance claim. Right? So
I would have thought that too.
Plus, I wanted them you're going to jail now. That's what I was thinking. But they said, nope, we're not going to pick up the case. He was your brother. He lived in the house. Sorry. State Farm Insurance says we're not going to pay on the insurance claim because there was no accident.
Yeah.
So
even though there was a theft.
And he's a covered driver, because he lives with you, even though he stole the car technically, we're not paying, So I called up a lawyer friend of mine and I said, hey, I need you to draw up some documents for me. Because I'm going to either sue my brother or he's going to sign a promissory note and pay me. Yep. Mm-hmm. So I might have fluffed up the number too. Couple thousand.
Added a couple grand.
Pain and suffering. So I said, look, you're going to sign this and you're going to pay me every month until this is paid off, or we're never going to talk again. I'm fine either way. And you'll never see your niece. And subsequently I've got a set of boy-girl twins. And I'm like, you're never going to see us again. What do you want to do? So he signed and he's been paying me slowly.
Yeah, real slowly. This is what, 10 years ago?
Yeah, this was 10 years ago. Yeah.
A nickel every other week.
Yeah, $50 would show up here and there, but at least he's thinking about me, know. The shame of it is that we are into the same things, same sports teams. He invited me a couple weeks ago to go see Neil deGrasse Tyson. He was in town here, and there was a scheduling conflict, and so he couldn't go. And I was relieved that he couldn't go because my jaw still locks up.
Did he give you the tickets though?
I didn't want. I said give them to somebody else. You know?
Here's my question. We've talked about this before on like typical things that narcs do. Did he ever apologize to you?
No.
See?
I
They
know.
never apologize.
Did your ex-husband ever apologize?
He has,
Yeah.
but
Has
I
he?
have put him.
Did it
through
feel?
Yeah.
Did he say I'm sorry you felt that way?
No, he'll always do a qualifier like I'm really sorry I put you through that, but I was going through a really hard time. You know, like it'll be something like, listen,
There's
in
always-
terms
yeah.
of my ex, I've learned that I have to take it with a grain of salt, and it's not always the situation that I want or hope for, but it's the situation I have. So the only thing I have is like, how can I respond? And the thing that really sucks for me is the fact that, in a sense, I have to stick up for him to my parents, which I don't love doing, but it's the right thing for my kid. And my parents don't have the broad view to be able to realize I'm not being sucked in. I'm just doing this for my kid.
And you're the mom. I mean, it's your choice.
So when Mr. T's brother, the Fresh Prince, apologizes to you, like, did you ever ask for one?
Or your
No, I
wife. Did he
didn't-
apologize to your wife?
I think he may have apologized to her.
Okay.
When my uncle asked him, "Why did you do this? This was crazy."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he told my uncle because I felt like they should have left me the car.
Are you
Oh,
serious?
entitlement.
And,
Wow. That is total entitlement.
And in a different situation, he called me a sociopath.
Of course, they
what
always
do.
project.
It's you.
They always
It's
do.
you.
That's classic
always-
projection.
Yep.
You know?
So tell me, like,
Crazy.
did he ever finish college?
No.
Did he?
No, he did not. And he
Does he have
bounced around.
Does he have success in his like personal relationships, close friends, romantic relationships?
Nope. Not at all. And
That's sad.
it,
Did you ever
He's-
feel like it was you? Did you always feel strong, like, what an ass? He's a dick. Or did you ever feel, because I think for women especially.
We self-blame.
Yes.
Yeah.
no, I always thought it was him. No.
That's so refreshing.
Yeah, and
we need more.
I know.
men on
Yeah,
this
we
show.
You should write a book, maybe.
I'd love to. I need a ghostwriter, though.
Yeah,
Right
Can you guys
here.
help me?
Yeah.
Right here.
Yeah.
So
She's good.
I've always known it was him. And like I said, this was the biggest story that I'm telling you guys. But
Yeah.
there are so many small stories
Yeah.
where people that know both of us, and I'm like, I told you he was going to do this. I told you, once you pull back the veneer, it's him, and so, yeah.
Do you always have your guard up with him? Like,
I do.
going home for Christmas, you're always like, not so
I do.
sure.
I have a
how
hard
this is gonna
time
go.
even talking to him.
Really?
And
What about Mrs. T?
she's more forgiving than I am.
Yeah.
We
We always are. What's wrong with us?
Yeah, I don't. And I'm like, dude, he violated your personal space.
Yeah, that was
I would
her
burn
underwear.
my
Like your
underwear.
intimate
I'd burn
personal
them.
space.
Yeah, and it's hard to even think about it even 10 years later,
So what about your kids? What do they think of their?
Oh, they love him.
Yeah,
He's a great
right.
guy.
Of course
yeah.
they do.
Yeah.
Yo, yeah, he's the fun uncle, he picks them up and
So do you tell them that maybe Uncle Fresh Prince isn't such a great guy, or do you just let them figure it out?
No, they're ages 11 and 7
They'll
and I
figure it out.
don't want to taint
They'll
that
figure it out.
relationship and
Yeah.
I just I don't get in between my brother and the kids, my wife and the kids, and I try not to, as best I can, badmouth him to other people.
Do you think he'll ever get it, or do you think this is the
No.
person he is and will always
No,
be?
this is who he is at age 31. It's who he's going to be. He was a bit of a whoops with my parents, and
Yeah.
they're a little older when they had him, and so they just didn't put the same effort into him,
Oh, yeah.
and he's just entitled, and so it's really unfortunate because we're just very similar people, other than the narcissism and sociopathic behaviors.
Right.
You have
right.
similar interests.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Right, and you're from the same family structure, and
Yep.
it's siblings are always your go-to friends in most situations, and when you can't rely on that, that's really difficult.
It was 2 years that I didn't talk to him. I couldn't talk to him.
Did he try to reach out to you in those 2 years?
No, he knew better. I had avoided fighting him.
Yeah.
But I may have fought him at that point.
Like fist fighting.
Fist fighting, yes.
Who do you think would have won?
Me.
Of course, because you're Mr. T.
I got the old man strength.
So much rage. Yeah. Going down.
So, which, by the way, we almost got into a fist fight recently.
Really?
Out in front of, there's a local higher-end soul food place in town here that some of you may be
I
familiar
know,
with.
I am familiar.
Yeah. So,
he almost threw down out
yes, and it was a stereotype,
down.
right? Black people outside of a soul food place fighting. But thankfully, he changed his mind because he was not going to win.
there. Right.
So, yeah.
Wow.
Well,
thanks
that's
for
good.
Yeah.
sharing that. I mean, the story, that's unfortunate, but thanks for.
Well,
Yeah.
these are, and I think
you.
this is a really good perspective because this is one that Em and I don't have. And what happens when you just can't get away? And I think what I hear from you guys is you just kind of keep them at arm's length and maybe keep your guard up and never make the same mistake twice or maybe twice, maybe 3 or 4 times. But sooner or later you learn,
No,
right?
we'll stick together, Punky. Right?
Right.
We'll help each
Stick
other.
together.
Start a Facebook group.
So usually, yeah, online support group. So we usually end with girl crushes, but we can't do that today because Mr. T probably has a million girl crushes as a heterosexual man. So instead, I made this game. You guys are going to love this. And this is going to be great. This is just Mr. T versus Punky Brewster. This is going to be really fun. Whoever wins gets some sort of swag, which we don't have yet, but we will get.
We'll get it.
We will get.
Okay.
All right. Maybe we'll give you swag. Maybe we'll give
Make sure you get it on sale, too. I know, Em, I think you're a value shopper. Yeah.
Mr. T is definitely a value shopper. I know that about you. All right. So this game, best of 15, just shout it out if you know it. This game is called Narc or Vegan. So you have to tell me if this famous person is a narcissist or a vegan. Are you ready?
Go.
You ready? All right.
Deal.
Okay. Kanye West.
Narc.
That goes to Punky.
Total.
I would say vegan.
He's not.
Really?
He is not.
No, he's the
Nobody loves Kanye more than Kanye.
Exactly.
Oh, I was thinking of someone else when you said that. Never mind. Sorry. Okay, got it.
Liam Hemsworth.
Vegan.
Oh, you're getting smoked here, Mr. T.
this is terrible.
You gotta blurt it out.
I'm gonna make a comeback.
Mel Gibson.
Narc.
I'm gonna give it to Mr. T. Even though you both had it. Just to make it interesting. I think it might have been you, but whatever. Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Narc.
Giselle Bundchen.
Vegan.
Yes, he's come back.
Told you I would come back.
All right. This one's gonna be
I need pressure.
okay. Donald Trump.
Vegan.
Narc. The narcissist.
Oh yeah.
The.
Oh yeah.
I just read an article about what
most
he.
amazing
Can I just
narcissist ever.
The most
sidebar?
amazing one
Can I
ever.
just sidebar for a second? Do you guys know what that fucker eats? They just had an
Everything?
article. No, McDonald's.
Yes.
12 Diet Cokes a day.
Ew.
No vegetables. I mean, like, I'm not
Why is he
judging.
alive?
But
You know,
exactly.
I know.
I hope
Just
he
health
would
food.
not
He
be very
eats
soon.
like
reasons, yeah.
and Kentucky Fried Chicken. Like this is the staple in
And
his.
he talks about women being what
Anyway,
a piece
he's
of
disgusting.
shit.
We have to. Can we do a show on him?
We bring him up a lot, but we could do a show dedicated to how much we hate him. But I don't think it would be funny at all.
Can I hire,
Oh, we can make it funny.
What's that?
my
in
son.
a total narcissist mood? Can I hire myself and just come here?
No, we can have
Yes.
we can have our kids do the impressions.
Oh my gosh! So her son and one of my kids, my youngest child, does a spot on Donald Trump impression, and they are hilarious.
Oh, I'd love to hear that.
It's
Good.
awesome.
We have videos.
is
We'll
really-
send them back and forth to each other. All right, ready for the next one? Bill Clinton.
Narcissist.
This is a trick question. He's both.
He's
a
vegan now.
He's a
Slim down.
vegan.
He looks good.
He is a vegan.
Yeah.
He, I don't think he looks good at all.
I think
You
it
don't
looks
think so?
sick.
I think his life is haunting him
His
now.
neck is a little thin. His neck's a little thin.
Yes, I don't know. We're gonna skip that one. I don't know. That was trick. All right, Michelle Pfeiffer.
Vegan.
Oh, that's right,
Oh,
Punky.
where is she? I love her.
I do too. Okay.
Like Scarface Michelle Pfeiffer or more recent? I haven't seen her in.
All I know is that she is currently a vegan.
Okay.
I can only do so much on Google, Mr. T.
Well, I mean, I'm from the 80s, so I'm thinking back to, her then.
Yeah. She looked good.
She did.
Okay. Mariah Carey.
Oh.
Narc.
All right, that's Punky, I think.
What's the score?
Narc.
Okay, I gotta count these. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 to 4.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Is there a tiebreaker?
Maybe
Okay.
Benedict Cumberbatch.
Oh, I love it.
Vegan.
Yes.
Good.
Right.
Thank God. I
Yes.
still love him.
I know, right? Because he's so great.
He's so great.
Venus Williams.
Vegan.
Yes. I don't know who to give that to. Did you hear?
Yeah, it was like a total tie.
I'm going to write
That was
a
100%.
one.
Or you can give it to Punky.
You want me to give it to
Because
Punky?
I'm going to get the next.
You're such a gentleman.
He puts bows on his wife's car.
That's such a non-narc thing to
Yes, it is.
Punky. I know. Okay. This one's fun. Madonna.
do. Narc.
Vegan.
Ooh.
She's both. And also crazy.
So we each get a point. We each
Give us a point. It's another time.
She's both.
All right. Jay-Z.
narc.
Narcissist. He's not a vegan.
Wow. Okay, that's surprising to me.
So then I wonder about Beyonce.
You don't think I don't think Beyonce. Well,
I don't know.
Mr. T and I have had discussions about Beyonce.
You have to be a narc to be a rapper.
I kind of think so.
You know,
And
I mean,
what's
come on.
his net worth?
Here's why I put him on this
$800
list.
million.
Yeah.
Mr. T and I have had text discussions about which
did.
one's worth more, Jay-Z or Beyonce.
It's not even
Beyonce,
close. It's not
Beyonce.
even close.
Beyonce,
No,
right?
No,
absolutely
Jay-Z.
not.
Jay-Z's worth more.
He's worth
Really?
almost 900. He's worth almost $1 billion.
Yeah.
He's on the Forbes list himself.
Yeah, because he owns he owns rights to other
sports
people's music,
teams,
sports teams.
Wow. Once you get that high up.
Champagne. So they met. So Jay-Z's been around since the early 90s, like doing stuff. And they met, or at least. their
03,
first-
Bonnie
Mr. T
and
must
Clyde.
read Us
Hold
Weekly.
and be.
So that was his right. That was his music, right?
It was.
Right.
She was coming
Her
out
hair's
of
growing back.
Yeah, she's coming out of the,
Oh,
the
yeah. I love
Destiny's
that.
Child, you know.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Yeah, why don't you come do this with me?"
I bet he wanted to come do that with her.
Yeah,
But here, that's the thing.
He did.
I
He's a
only
narc,
count
though.
him as a narcissist for all the other reasons and the fact that he cheated on Beyonce.
Yes.
Who the fuck
Who
cheats
cheats
on
on
why would you
Beyonce?
do that?
Are
That's
you
crazy.
kidding?
Yeah.
Right.
That's
Today
insane.
is my wife told me today is National Black Men Stop Cheating Day or something like that.
Are you
Come on.
serious?
Yeah.
Did she tell you this for a reason?
I was like, why are we talking about this? You know, but it's a thing. It's
He's like, what did you
Wow.
hear?
yeah. Look that up.
All right,
Look
I'm
that
going to
up.
look it up. All right, you ready? Next one. Natalie Portman.
Vegan.
God,
She's got to
Punky.
be a vegan.
Good.
She
I
is.
like her.
All right. So what's
Last one. Joan Crawford.
Vegan.
narcissist?
Oh.
All right, here we go.
I
How about Tony
I think you
Robbins?
won.
Da, da.
Tony Robbins. That would be
Yeah.
a good.
I wonder. I think he's a hidden nerd.
Don't you love him
do
though?
too.
Oh,
I used to
You
until
won
I heard
7 to
I watched
6.
his video.
Punky won
Oh,
7 to
it's
6.
actually a tie because he gave me that one.
You're right. It would have been 7 to
Oh.
7. You want to take it back?
They both get
It's a
swag.
tie.
No.
Hey, they both
No.
get swag.
It's a tie.
We'll give you both swag.
It's a true tie.
You'll
It
have
might be a
sex and
pink-
tacos on your shirt. And you'll have I'm kind of a big deal.
Those are the two phrases we're ordering
fantastic.
on our swag. I'm here for sex and tacos.
I can't wait. I can't wait. Yeah.
Okay.
Good job, Punky.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Wasn't that
Mr.
fun?
T.
I thought that
That
was
was fun.
Okay.
Good idea.
All right. Well, thank you guys for joining us, and tell all your friends to listen, and tell them to follow us on Instagram under S&M Podcast, and on Twitter also under S&M Podcast, I believe. So
Thanks
thanks for
having
joining.
us.
Yeah. Thank you.